Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, so here we go. Now we're doing the Levitical blood rites, right? We're doing the Levites, the blood rite. Now this word rite, R-I-T-E, is mida, right? This mida, this is a blood rite. So it's to the blood of the house of Levi, and it is for everyone to know because we all have to make sure everything is done right, that this way there be no death from sin among us.
Okay.
Okay? There's no death from sin. You know, we don't make a problem with God. We don't want this.
Yes.
Right? So we get starting in chapter 3. Right? And if his oblation be of the sanctified victims, if from thy cattle he offer, whether male or female, he shall offer it perfect. So now you find out you can offer the female one too.
Yes.
Okay? So now it cannot be a sick animal. It cannot be an animal who has any broken limbs, right? Any infections and pus. It cannot be sick, right? First thing you want to do is cure the animal of all the sickness. And then when it is well, then offer it, right? Breed it. Do other things. Just don't offer the sick animal. Okay? You keep that one and work on it.
Wow.
Okay? And he shall lay his right hand firmly on the head of the oblation, and the slayer shall kill it at the door of the tabernacle of ordinance, and the priests, the sons of Aaron, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And of the sanctified victim, his oblation before Yah, he shall offer the covering of fat which covereth the inwards, even all the fat which is upon the inwards. So the fat is given in and is used, okay? And the two kidneys and the fat which is upon them, that is upon the folding and the caul that is upon the liver, with the kidneys he shall remove. Now, some people don't know what the caul of the kidneys and the liver is. It's the part we don't eat. All of the toxins and all of the poison is in there.
Okay.
Okay? So we don't eat that. We cut that off. We get rid of it. And the sons of Aaron shall offer it on the altar with the sacrifice that is on the wood, which is upon the fire, an oblation to be received with favor before Yah. Okay? So following these instructions, removing what needs to be removed. Okay? So we don't eat in no stomach. We're not eating the entrails. We're not eating these sacks on the kidneys and the livers with the toxins and the poisons. It doesn't go in the fire to be burned. So no trying to make extra special flavor with it. This goes out with the ashes burning. It goes out. This is in the trash. We don't want it. Okay? See with favor before Yah. And if his oblation of a consecrated offering before Yah be from the flock, right? So if it be one of the birds, whether male or female, his oblation shall be perfect. And if he present a lamb for his oblation, he shall bring it before Yah and lay his right hand firmly on the head of his oblation, and the slayer shall kill it before the tabernacle of ordinance, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood upon the altar round about, and of the offering of his consecrated oblation he shall offer the best of its fat, and remove the whole of the tail close to the spine, and the covering of fat which covereth the inwards, even all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys and the fat which is upon them, upon the folding and the caul that is over the liver, together with the kidneys, he shall take away. Throw it out. And the priest shall sacrifice it at the altar, the meat of an oblation, before Yah. Okay? Now notice, right? It is exactly the same from the cows to the birds. Well, the birds is slightly different, but from the cows to the sheeps and rams, right? The separation of the members, right? You cut off the tail, move the inward parts, you divide it in twain, right? You separate the legs. You're going to chop it up. It's getting cooked.
Yes.
Okay? You do not roast this whole thing whole. You don't do that. That's not what you do. Okay? Don't do that. That is forbidden. We have a law now, okay? They did it in Egypt, Mosai said, don't do that ever again. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Okay? This is how it's to be done. Here is the exact instructions. And I'm reading it directly. And if anybody got a problem with it, turn off my podcast. Turn off my channel. Go about your business. Find the idol you want to worship and worship that. I don't care. All right? And if the priest shall sacrifice, and if his oblation be from the young goats, he shall bring it before Yah and lay his right hand. Now notice, on every oblation, you have to lay your right hand firmly on his head. And the killer kills it. Okay? Now, when these things have these ears, right, you actually fold the ears over the eyes when you're doing this. And you have to say, Bismillah.
Bismillah.
In the name of God. See?
Yes.
This goes all the way back to Ibrahim, to Abraham. So you see this? Place it firmly on the head. Now you actually covering the ears, covering the eyes. This is also a mercy. You don't want the animal in panic. When you cover the eyes with your hand firmly pressed on the head, the animal actually goes almost like sleep.
Oh, okay.
Right? But you are, again, in exchange. This is by command, and this is the rite, the ritual as it is supposed to be performed, with details. And the slayer shall kill it before the tabernacle of ordinance, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood upon the altar round about. And if his oblation before Yah, he shall offer again the covering of fat which covereth the inwards, even all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat which is upon them, and the foldings of the caul which is over the liver, along with the kidneys, he shall take away. Right? And the priest shall sacrifice them at the altar, the meat of an oblation to be received with favor. All the fat shall be offered before Yah Allah. It is an everlasting statute until all your generations that neither the fat nor the blood shall be eaten in any of your dwellings, but upon the back of the altar it shall be sacrificed to the name of Yah. So it's sacrificed upon the back. Now, at the back side of the altar, where you put the fat renders down and fuels the fire.
Oh, okay.
Right? It keeps the fire going. Anybody who's worked in a barbecue grill, you know, when you put that fatty meat up there, that fire gets...
it gets hotter. And,
right?
Yeah.
But you need to have control.
Yes.
So the fire is hottest at the back. because
Yes.
all the fat is there. And when you want to get it to a cool spot,
Right.
you can move it. So you have a
Yes.
sear spot and there's a cooking spot.
Yes.
So there's an order moving back to front.
And it's an everlasting.
This is an everlasting thing, meaning that it didn't stop just because you decided you wanted to see what the world was about, whether you be Africa, America, Asia, or Europe. Just because you decided you wanted to see what the world was about and they took you off into captivity and slavery, it didn't end with you.
Right.
You still, when you come back, have to do it this way. You can't change it.
Right.
And Yah spake with Moshe, saying, Sons of Israel, listen to this context. When a man hath sinned inadvertently, meaning when he didn't know that it was wrong, not that he didn't think he would get away with it, he literally didn't know this was a rule.
Right.
Against any of the commandments of Yah in doing what ought not to be done. And he hath done it against any one of them. Okay? So it doesn't matter which law you've broken. Right? So right now, you've broken all of them. Right? You're not in the land. Right? You don't own your land, right? You own foreign land now. You're not trying to come back, right? You want somebody to take you back. You don't want to come back of your own. All of these are sins, right? The fact that I am reading you and teaching it to you is telling you you're wrong. But this is inadvertent because you weren't raised with this law. You have no teachers of this law. I am the first to bring it to you with the full understanding. All your other teachers, all your pastors, and all other religions are false. All. Okay? Now, when you say all religions are false, but Aki, you said you were Muslim. Yeah. The Muslims have their religion because all religions are given from the Most High. So what makes all religions false to us is that this is what's given to us. I don't care about the pagan people worshiping the pagan religion. They are pagans. They are supposed to do that. That's what the Most High gave them. He gave them Christianity. They can do what they want with their religion. I don't care. The Jewish people, in all honesty, the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi, they are worshiping Molech. I don't care what they call it. It is not what the Most High gave us. There's no need to copy them. They are forbidden from doing this. These books are banned. They banned it, and the Vatican banned it. It's unauthorized.
And Muslim is not a religion.
Well, the 90% of Islam is the customs and traditions of Abraham. 90%. But the religion that they have, the Most High gave it to them, so I don't care that they keep it. They supposed to. It's appointed to them. Every Muslim here knows chapter 2 and verse 40, Al-Baqarah 240. The Torah is given with perfection. It's given to the children of Bani Israel. I'm Bani Israel. This is what it tells me to do. My customs and traditions, I'm sacrificing from the same. The law of the sacrifice is the same. The makers of voodoo is the same. So 90% is the same. When we get to the rules that's different, it's different because this is what's given to me. It's not given to them. So that's why I could say all religions is false.
Right.
Why? It's false to me as a son of Israel. I have this one, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is how I'm supposed to do it. This is my instruction. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Right. So pretty much, don't have your focus on what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you're supposed to be
everybody
doing.
got that problem.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
Right? But we supposed to that's not my job to bring the world under subjection. Let the Most High do his own work. He knows how to bring nations down. He brought us down. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to just keep my law. When I get the instruction to do something, then I do it. Until then, it's none of my business. Shouldn't be out there. There's no reason for me to be outside of my land. I buy this land because the Most High said buy the land over here. You can't come in. You're not going to come in with war and take it by warful occupation. It's not going to happen. You don't have an army. We don't have an army.
Right.
You're going to be good, and we're going to be lawful, and we're going to be at peace with our brothers, that they may rejoice in our returning, like the prophecy says.
Yes.
You over there in westernized armies coming over here and making war with your brothers, helping the enemy. Then complain about what the enemy do for you and do to you because none of it ever works to your benefit.
Right.
You deserve what you get. At this point, before this point, you didn't know. It was inadvertent. Nobody knew. But now you know. Now the message is being taught. Now you have an opportunity. And what will you do? Will you squander it? Will you hear my words and think that calamity won't begin to happen to you? You will slowly see things begin to break and continually deteriorate, getting worse. We will be here with this law and we will stand. There's nothing nobody could do to stop it. Because we're not even dealing with any of them. What are you going to do? Look at them over there eating vegetables, shepherding sheep. They think they're better than us. Yeah, we do. All right. So if the priest who is consecrated with oil has sinned, and when he has offered a sin offering for the people, not according to the rite, he shall bring for his sin a young bullock unblemished before Yah for a sin offering. So the Most High begins, and now we're talking about the atoning process, right? So first things first, there is the acknowledgement of wrong, and he didn't know. So this can be a young priest in training. This is why the instruction is written for everybody to know.
Right.
Right? So that we can prevent this. Hey. No. Everybody knows. It's like this, and there's a tradition. So when you have a priest who's supposed to be performing the rite, and he makes some mistake, now he got to go get a cow, a bullock, a male cow. He has to get a male cow when he has to come in and atone for his sin. He shall bring in the bullock to the tabernacle, to the gate of the tabernacle of ordinance, to the presence of Yah, lay his right hand upon the head of the bullock. The slayer shall kill the bullock before Yah, and the priest who is anointed with oil shall take the blood of the bullock and carry it into the tabernacle of ordinance, and the priest shall dip his fingers in the blood and sprinkle the blood 7 times in the presence of Yah before the veil of the sanctuary.
7 times.
So now you take your finger. This is how much blood is being sprinkled. You take your finger, you dip it. And this is sprinkled when you're sprinkling on the altar, when you're sprinkling before the veil. Don't get none of it on the veil. Not one. This is on the ground. There's a little space of dirt. It's on the ground, and you sprinkle it right there on the ground, just a little bit, and you cover it with dust. Tell me the priests know that now. You know it now. I just told you. And you still don't know it because you only heard about it. You have yet to perform the rite. And don't think that anybody else could do it. It's the blood rite. So you can call yourself Cohen or whatever. You ain't going to do nothing. You ain't going to get nothing. The only thing coming is death and destruction. I'm not the one doing it, so go ahead. You have to fight with God, right? Stop the destruction of the world. Stop the wars. Stop the pollution. Stop everything. Stop. Everybody go back to an agricultural society like it says.
You know, I've had, some people always ask, well, what about our atonement?
This is it. You have to start with the priest. So I have to get a priesthood together. Now, I can't get a priesthood together because the people don't have a place to live. They don't own nothing. We have no autonomous community under the law. And they don't have no autonomous community because the people don't want to decide to live under the rule of the son of David, who has the right to buy the land, in the land, and rebuild. It's a decision. You elected Barack Obama. Why? Because Oprah said he's great. So if I don't get approval by people who are approved by white people, they don't want to follow the instructions. But everybody says this is the son of, I meet a new son of David every day. There's none of them out here.
In position,
with the skill, with the ability, with the training, right? I have a teacher, right? I have to answer to the Bedouin court. I am a part of the Bedouin court. So I am still part of the Sanhedrin. People don't know the head of the Bedouin court was created by Isaac. The Sharia court was created by Isaac. And it's kept by both Isaac, the Itzakim, the sons of Isaac, and the Ishmaeli. The Sharia court, which I am a part of. We'll be right back. All right. So the Sharia court, I have to give answer to. So everything that I had to file, my paperwork, my land, my agreement, I have everything, and it goes to my sheikh. I have a sheikh, right? My sheikh is one of the highest sheikhs in the region. So I have to answer for these things. And everything I'm telling you, none of the other ones are affiliated. They have no order, right? They have no understanding. They have nothing. They are all talking.
And you can't appoint yourself as a sheikh.
Right. I'm proven.
Right.
I'm a lineage proven, right? So I'm 3 generations from King Jaja. I am the 4th. From King Jaja of Apabo, who was the king of all the Igbos, the last one in Africa overall. Who was a direct descendant from Zerubbabel. This is all proven with documentation. There's a whole documentary, There's a whole documentary. So my lineage is proven. I've proven it factually. Like no slave ship, no I feel like David. Yes, the branches of David of many. If you feel like you from the branch, you are. but I'm the appointed ruler over the branch. At this time, there's none to replace me. That's it. So either we're going to follow and get in line and start to learn, get our nobility back, go through the process, build, or you're going to wait and taste destruction. So before we can start back with the atoning process, we have to reconsecrate with oil the priesthood. Right?
Yes. Verse 7.
And the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense that is before Yah, and in the tabernacle, and all the rest of the blood of the bullock he shall pour out at the foundation of the altar of burnt sacrifice, which is at the gate of the tabernacle of ordinance. Now, I'm going to say something about this. If you notice, they have to go through and reconsecrate all the holy items,
yes,
which were for service.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the priests fall off. We got to reconsecrate everything that is for the atoning and for the people, because the priest was polluted by sin. So the people have to get together to make everything for the priest to do the atoning, to have the tabernacle, the service before the Most High, and then the priest must remain perfect, right? And everything for his service has to remain perfect. And if there is a mistake, we have a process for fixing it, because we're training young men, and they're going to make some mistakes, and even some old men, they're going to make some mistakes. But we have a process of keeping things cleansed and sanctified. Okay? And all the fat of the bullock of the sin offering he shall separate from him, and the covering of the fat, which the inwards, even all of the fat, which is upon the inwards, the 2 kidneys of the fat, which is upon them, upon the folding, and the caul that is upon the liver, with the kidneys he shall remove, as it was separated from the bullock from the consecrated sacrifice. So it's the same.
Yes.
So shall these things be separated from the lambs and from the goats, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar of burnt offering, and all the skin of the bullock, with his flesh, with his head, and with his legs, and his inward parts, and his dung, the whole of the bullock he shall carry forth into a clean place without the camp, to a place where the cinders are poured out, and shall burn him with wood in the fire at the place where cinders are poured out, shall he be burned. So, let me explain. So we do the division, and we take the blood and we sanctify it, right? We take the meat, and we have all the separation with the ashes, the dung and all it is, and we burn it. Right? Now, normally the dung, you carry it out far away, it stinks. This going out. But now you take the dung and you put it on top of the ashes, and you carry it out with the meat, the burnt meat, with everything. And you take it to the place where you've been dumping the ashes, and you throw more wood on top of it, and you burn this hot, stinky mess. Nobody eats it. This is not eaten. So the priest is carrying hot, burnt cow meat and cow doo-doo through the congregation. So the tabernacle is in the center. He's got this stuff on a cart, and he's pushing this cart out to the place of the ashes. This is his walk of shame. Because everybody is like, oh man, this stuff stink. What's the stink? It's the stench of his sin. So you have to carry it out and he has to burn it. When he's finished this process and it's all burnt, it's done. He come back, bathe himself, and enter back into the service. But we all know that priest made a mistake. Oh, yeah, that's right. You see, you're going to bear, the one thing you've forgotten is how to bear shame. You should be ashamed. You have sunk this low as a people. All of your daughters are exposing themselves in their nudity all across the internet for $1. Then all of your sons are all out chasing foreign nations. And if they're not chasing foreign nations, they're out dealing with the harlots that used to be the daughters of Zion. Now, I'm making a separation, right? You may be a daughter of Jacob by blood, but it is forbidden for you to make yourself a harlot to have known many men. Your first man is your husband. If he die, then your second one is your husband. All of this disgusting whorishness, and you parade it to the world. All of your sin. And you have no shame. Chapter 4, verse 13. And if the whole congregation of Israel, that's where we are today.
Yeah.
So you see how I talked about shame?
Yeah.
And now we hear where the whole congregation is wrong. Have erred, and the thing hath been hidden from the sight of the congregation in doing inadvertently against one of the commandments of Yah, was not right to be done, and thus have sinned. That's where we are today. We right here, right? So not only do we have to put back the community, one, just to give back some of the Levites that we may consecrate some and reteach them the service. But we have to reorganize and reorder ourselves so that we can atone for the whole congregation, because none of you know what to do. Everybody has got a bit and a piece about a custom and tradition, and none of you have the perfection of the law with its details. And none of you understand the way to repair this. And I'm sitting here and I'm telling you.
So pretty much.
So you said you didn't know because of all the years of exile and captivity, right? Everybody who knew has already died. And everybody who's carrying on today is carrying on based upon fraudulent information.
So based on what we are reading, our sins are not atoned.
No, not yet. We have to atone them. But in order to atone for the sins, we have to rebuild the things that were lost.
So the idea of us thinking that, oh, we went to Yah and we prayed for forgiveness, oh, we're forgiven, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
Yeah, we're in bad shape.
That's a lie. Most High is not, I tell people this all the time. Most High is not hearing none of these prayers. Y'all some of the worst praying folk I have ever seen. Worst. Because You don't pray until you in the bad situation, until the disease is upon you. You don't pray until you see like maybe you won't make it out. And then you ask other people to pray for you. Right? And then go right back to whatever it was you was doing before to end up back in that situation again. Your forefathers prayed to get out of slavery, prayed to get out of that country. And now you just sit there and you're not even looking back. Worst praying folk ever. In the history of praying, you the worst. Oh, Pookie got arrested. Oh, y'all pray for him. We're going to try to get him out. I know Pookie was innocent. But you don't pray for justice. You create it. You build it for yourself. It takes autonomy. You must reject your masters. Oh, but I love my master. He gave me a good job. I make $100,000 a year. Then when he takes and collects all that he gave you back and leave you with nothing to die, I should have left. We need to get out. Maybe these new people who have the money will pay and make something for us to get out. They will lead us out. And they don't lead you because they got the money on permission too. So the congregation shall sin without error. So this is where we are today. We right here. Leviticus chapter 4 and verse 13. And the sin which they have sinned be made known to them. The congregation shall offer a young bullock as a sin offering and shall bring him before the tabernacle of ordinance. So now we owe the Most High 2 bullocks. So first, we have to buy the land. Right? We have to buy the land. When we buy the land, we have to build housing and businesses for people to live and work here, and we can own our own businesses and feed ourselves. We have our own supermarket. We have our own banking system. We have everything. People think a banking system like you got to go register it. Did you know that? No. The banking system can be held within the community and not be registered. As a matter of fact, you can have a banking system where it have an office and there's no money in there.
Right.
So you have to have your own financial system. You have to have your own farms. You have to have your own crops, your own flour. Flour is the easiest thing to grow. You just need a lot of land. You can grow a lot. Heck, if you don't have a lot of land, you can make an indoor warehouse and begin to grow it inside. But you can grow it yourself. So you grow your flour, you grow your wheat. You have to put back the basic fundamentals for human life. The Most High does not want a bullock until you have 200. He doesn't want a sheep until you have 200. You cannot give your first one until you have 200. So we have to breed up to 200
Before we can even offer up.
before you can offer up one. And now we already owe 2. So we need one person with 200 and another person with 200. So you need 400 before you can give 2. And after you atone for the priest and for the congregation, you begin back the perpetuals. So now you need sheep every day. So you're going to need more than 200 apiece. That's bullocks. You need 400 cows just to start performing atonement.
Mm, 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 mm.
So now we have to get all the way back to this point. So now when I'm telling you what we have to build and what we have to do, it starts with land. Because you got to find a place for 400 cows to live.
Mm-hmm.
Now these cows going to produce a lot of poop. We need to know what to do with it while we raising these cows. And we have to feed these cows. So you still got to grow wheat and barley anyway
Right.
to feed the cows, let alone make bread for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start wheat production.
Right. And that's why you say yesterday the first thing we would start is with dementia.
Right. We're going to start with the wheat and we're going to start with like our own spices, like cinnamon. It's a tree. And we're going to start growing our own cinnamon, our own olive oil. We're going to start growing our own myrrh and our own frankincense. We're going to get the trees. We're going to plant them and we're going to start our own harvest of these things to make an accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we're growing our own herbs. So we're going to buy a lot of land. A lot of land.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy as much land as they're going to let me buy.
Correct. Mm.
You know, after this, right, when I'm done reading, we're going to do another podcast. And we're going to talk about where the real wealth is.
Okay.
And I got a couple of charts I'm going to show you. So check out the podcast after this.
Okay.
All right? And the sin be made known to them, they have to bring a bullock to the tabernacle of ordinance. And 12 of the elders of the congregation, the counselors appointed over the 12 tribes, the Amarkalim. So you have to have, you're going to have 13 people beside myself. So this includes me and 13 men ahead from each tribe must be present in order to atone for the congregation. And notice they calls them Amarkalim, counselors, because they're judges. We have to give counsel. So this is 13, right? You have the king over the 12, and then the 12, right? The son of Aaron over Levi, Asher, Dan, Naphtali, Judah, Zebulun, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ephraim, Manasseh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reuben.
Reuben, Gad, Shimeon, all of them. You need all of them. A head, there's 12 heads. And it includes the one appointed over them. So these 12 heads shall lay their hands firmly upon the head of the bullock, and the slayer shall kill the bullock before Yah. And the high priest shall carry some of the blood of the bullock into the tabernacle of ordinance, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle thereof 7 times before the presence of Yah before the veil, and he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar that is before Yah within the tabernacle of ordinance, and all of the residue of the blood he shall pour out at the foundation of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle, and the fat he shall separate from him and burn at the altar. And he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for the sin offering of the high priest, so shall he do with him. And the priest shall atone for them, and it shall be forgiven them. Don't tell me about nobody on no sticks. You a liar. Atonement is built into the system.
Sitting here, yes, I have read this before, but now really, and I've already had the idea of understanding the state that we in as a people, but really listening to this morning, if you cannot see how bad off we are, if this is not moving your heart or breaking you to understand how bad off we really are, really have some shame, die. That's all, just because this is the only way that we can even be forgiven. And when you think about all the things that you have done, and it's only by the mercy of Yah that you're still standing, to have an opportunity to be able to come back to this, and you're taking it for granted. You're just gonna have to meet all Shaddai, all Shadi, yeah, the destroyer, Yah as the destroyer, because our atonement can't be done no other way. It's an everlasting stature. And, sitting here looking at my own self, it's shameful. It's very shameful. It's shameful.
So, and the bullock shall be carried forth without the camp and be burned as the former bullock of the high priest was burned, though it is the sin of Israel, through it the sin of Israel may be forgiven. It is a sin offering for the congregation, so nobody eats this one. So now we need 400 minus 2, and these 2 get burnt with all the dung and all the funk being carried out, which is the sin. You can smell the stench of hot burning doo-doo, and it goes outside the camp and be burnt at the place of the cinders, which is a clean place. It ain't clean no more because it's now hot burning doo-doo smell now from 2 bulls. We're going to stop at verse 24, 22, and I'll catch y'all on the podcast.